UFC middleweight contender Nassourdine Imavov here in Abu Dhabi. Nassourdine, salam, how are you?
Alaikum salam. Good, and you?
I'm good, thank you. Very interesting times in the middleweight division. Of course, we kind of had a little tournament. Some people saw it. I know you believed you were number one contender anyway. You beat Caio Borralho. We had Reinier de Ridder, supposed to fight Anthony Hernandez, ends up fighting Brendan Allen instead. We were speaking off camera. You felt like Brendan Allen was going to beat Reinier de Ridder, is that correct?
Du coup, moment très intéressant dans les middleweight. Il y avait ce petit tournoi dont on avait parlé entre toi, Caio, de Ridder, Hernandez. Finalement, Hernandez a pull out. Derrière, de Ridder a affronté Allen. Tu nous as dit hors caméra que tu pensais qu'Allen allait gagner, c'est bien ça?
Oui, bien sûr, c'est bien ça. Il y a eu le tournoi d'après vous, mais en vrai, il n'y a pas eu de tournoi. Je suis le prochain. Donc voilà, après, pour le combat, je savais déjà le résultat, je savais comment ça allait se finir. Et voilà, c'est juste que les médias, ils ont donné trop de peps à comment s'appelle, de Ridder. Il s'est senti fort, mais en réalité, je savais, j'avais même parié pour rigoler avec mon manager. J'avais dit que Allen allait gagner.
Yes, like I said before, for me there was no tournament. I'm the only contender in this division, and I proved it. And about RDR against Allen, like we said before, I knew Allen would win, and I even bet with my manager for joking, because he was thinking RDR would win, and I told him medias are doing a ton of things about him, and he's overrated. He has not the level that people think he has, and that's what Allen showed at the end.
Why did you think RDR was overrated? What did you see in his past performances? The level of competition, or what is it that you saw that made you think he's overrated?
Qu'est-ce qui t'a fait penser qu'il était surévalué RDR? Est-ce que c'est les affrontements qu'il a eus? C'est quoi?
C'est les affrontements qu'il a eus. Ensuite, sa manière de combattre. On a un coup d'œil de professionnel. Tu vois, je connais ce game, donc voilà, j'ai pu voir plein d'ouvertures que le grand public n'ont pas pu voir. Et pour moi, c'était évident. Et puis j'avais déjà affronté Allen, je savais à qui il avait affaire.
It's not about the media or whatever. I knew he was overrated because his fighting style, all the holes he has in his game, the mainstream public can't see it. But me as a professional fighter, I see all those holes, and I knew that when he would fight the right opposition, he would lose. And I faced Allen before, so I knew that from my perspective, Allen would be better than him.
And obviously he chose not to continue the fight. His corner threw in the towel. What was his reaction to that?
Au final, il a décidé carrément de ne pas poursuivre le combat et de jeter la serviette. Qu'est-ce que toi t'en penses de ça?
Qu'est-ce que j'en pense de ça? Ouais, c'est hardcore. Tu es un combattant professionnel, tu peux pas jeter l'éponge. C'est ce que j'ai pensé au début. Je pensais que c'est lui qui avait jeté l'éponge. Et j'ai trouvé ça bizarre et c'est trop. Tu peux pas jeter l'éponge. Après, j'ai vu que c'était son équipe, son coin qui avait jeté l'éponge et pas lui. Après, je sais pas ce qui s'est passé en off, mais bon, tu jettes en tant que combattant, tu dois pas jeter l'éponge, jamais.
No, as an elite fighter, you can't give up. That's your job. That's what you do for a living. You have the highest level in the world, and you're showing it to people. So you can't give up. It's like in life, at the end of the day. But I heard it was his corner was through the towel. So I don't know what happened clearly. But like I said, for me, you can't give up at the highest level. It's impossible for me.
And this was his fourth fight of the year. He said it was a lot on his body, the weight cuts. Do you buy any of that?
Et il a dit que parce qu'il avait eu beaucoup de combats cette année, beaucoup de cutting, etc. Est-ce que tu penses que ça peut être dû à ça?
Non, il y a aucune excuse face à ça. Tu dois pas jeter l'éponge. Et puis tu dois t'attendre à ce genre de choses. Et puis voilà, je pense que c'est mieux d'aller, il aurait dû y aller, se faire étrangler ou se prendre un KO que de jeter l'éponge comme ça.
You know, at the highest level, you know, there are no excuses. You know, win or lose, no excuses. And one thing is, you have to expect toughness. You have to expect toughness at the highest level. And it's like, from my perspective, it's better to go out there, even if you're tired and get submitted or knocked out, whatever happened, but you never give up. You know, it's like life. When you give up once, then you will give up again.
That being said, I think most people can agree. I know we've had this discussion before. It should have been you all along, but most people can agree now that there isn't really a conversation that you should be next.
Là, bah, du coup, je pense qu'il n'y a aucune discussion comme quoi bah, t'es le prochain.
Je suis le prochain, comme je l'ai dit dès le départ. Il n'y a aucune discussion.
As I said before, but you don't listen to me. I'm next. There are no discussions, and there was no discussions.
And our last interview that we did, we spoke about, when I asked you about Caio being a backup, you said, pourquoi not necessary and all that, and now the Ridder's talking about, his body failing him. I know a lot of people seem to think the way to go is just to jump at every opportunity. You've been a little bit smarter. Would you agree with your approach? You were active as well. I think people forget that. And you fought all the top guys. And your win over Brendan Allen has aged even better now.
Lorsque Caio a accepté d'être le backup, tu as dit pourquoi? Tu te moquais de lui, en gros ça ne servait à rien. Là on voit avec le cas de Ridder qui a enchaîné pas mal de cutting, etc. aussi. Est-ce que donc du coup au final ça prouve que tu as été le fighter le plus intelligent, qui a fait les meilleurs choix? What was the end of the question, please?
Yeah, basically that, as in like everybody was jumping at the opportunity to do stuff when he was fighting the talent, being active, but...
Ok. Ouais, et tout le monde du coup veut sauter sur les opportunités. Dès qu'il y a une opportunité, telle que faire le backup, prendre un short notice, etc. Toi au final, t'as pas eu besoin de faire ça et t'as prouvé en battant beaucoup de top contenders dans la catégorie.
Du coup la question c'est...
So what's the question at the end?
Does he feel like his approach was just smarter?
Est-ce que tu penses que tu as été plus intelligent que les autres et que tu as mieux géré ta carrière?
In the moment, a lot of people were looking at those guys and being like they're jumping on the opportunity and they might leapfrog Nassourdine.
Parce qu'il y a beaucoup de gens qui pensaient, étant donné que les mecs ils sautaient sur les opportunités, il y en a qui allaient te passer devant et en fin de compte, bah, c'est toi qui es toujours là.
C'est comme j'ai dit dès le début, eux ils ont besoin de cette opportunité. Moi j'ai pas besoin de ça. Moi j'ai déjà assez prouvé après Adesanya. Il y a eu plus de questions, donc eux je le comprends de leur côté. Si j'aurais été à leur place, j'aurais fait la même chose parce qu'ils n'ont rien encore prouvé dans cette catégorie.
I understand, their choices, because they haven't proved enough, they haven't proved enough. So as soon as there is a big opportunity, they have to jump on it. And maybe if I would be at their place, I would do the same. I don't know. But at my place, I did everything right. I beat all the top contenders, And like you said, Farah, we won't repeat every time the same thing. But we beat 5 top 10 middleweight in 18 months, so we can speak about this guy had 4 fights, 5 fights a year, whatever, but who they fought against, I fought 3 top 10, 2 top 5 and beat them all in 18 months.
Now, of course, the goal is you versus Khamzat. If he can play matchmaker for the rest of the division, who does he think should fight who?
Évidemment, la suite, c'est toi contre Khamzat, mais si tu dois jouer le matchmaker, du coup, avec les top contenders qui restent dans ta division, qui est-ce que tu mettrais face à qui?
De Ridder, Strickland, Anthony Hernandez, Brendan Allen.
Donc moi, pour la ceinture, DDP contre qui je pourrais le mettre? Allen, papa. Strickland contre comment s'appelle le Mexicain là, Hernandez. Ensuite il n'y a qui encore dans la KT, tac. Adesanya contre Costa, pourquoi pas, c'est bien, un bon petit retour. Et
Strickland aussi.
Strickland, je l'ai pas dit, c'est contre Hernandez.
Okay.
Contre Hernandez. Et de Ridder qui prend sa retraite.
So would be DDP for me. DDP against Allen, Strickland against Fluffy, Adesanya against Paulo Costa, and De Ridder maybe it's the end. No, I'm joking.
All right, let's finish off with this ideal timeline for you to fight Khamzat. Obviously, Khamzat doesn't do a lot of media, so we haven't heard his reaction ever since all these fights happened. But for him, perfect scenario, when would he be ready to go for the title fight?
Du coup, là, dans une timeline idéale, pour toi, un calendrier idéal, quand est-ce que tu devrais combattre pour le title shot contre Khamzat?
Quand est-ce que je devais combattre pour le title shot? Le plus rapidement possible. Moi, je suis prêt.
You know, as soon as possible, I'm ready. You know, I'm healing my injuries and I'm ready.
When Khamzat sits and calls out Pereira and says light heavyweight, heavyweight, what's his reaction to that? Khamzat's kind of been doing that since the beginning of his career, so does he think this is just all media? He doesn't think that anything.
Quand tu vois que Khamzat call out Pereira, etc., tu penses que c'est que du cinéma ou c'est vraiment sa volonté qu'il aimerait bien, etc., et que c'est réaliste?
Je pense que c'est réaliste, bien sûr. Je pense que c'est un gros combat. C'est un gros combat. Ils ont tous les deux beaucoup de hype. Ça pourrait être un très beau combat. Donc, ouais, il y a même moyen qu'il monte de catégorie. Je l'avais déjà dit, il me semble. Donc voilà.
I think it's 100% realistic, you know. Both guys are big stars. Khamzat is unbeaten. Pereira, you know, we know everything about Pereira. So I think it's big matchup for the UFC even. And I think I even spoke about it like way before we were speaking about title shot. You know, I know Khamzat. I know sometimes he's heavy, and I know he can potentially go up to heavyweight, to light heavyweight. So let's see. But I think it's realistic. It's not media communication or you know, bluff. You know, it's realistic, and he can do it.
Mais c'est pas le moment, because he's got to get the title shot, right?
Will depend. Elle a dit mais c'est pas le moment parce que toi tu dois avoir ton title shot contre lui. Ben, nous peu importe ce qu'on veut c'est la ceinture, on s'en fout de qui.
Exactement. C'est tout ce qu'on veut, c'est la ceinture et peu importe ce qu'il aura à ce moment-là.
Yeah, for us like it doesn't matter. You know, at the end of the day it's only the belt. Whoever gets the belt, we're coming for him. You know, so if it's him, if it's another one, it's the belt. You know.
Well, Pereira said he's not interested. He kind of wants to go up. So I don't know how realistic it is right now. But like you said, you know, regardless if Khamzat ends up going up and leaving the belt, he's just ready to fight.
I can answer to you also, Farah, because Khamzat said also he can go to heavyweight to take Pereira. You know, I think Pereira is afraid of Khamzat because of the matchup, of the style of the matchup. You know, and that's it. You know.
All right, well, thank you guys so much for the time.
Farah.
Nassourdine, merci beaucoup.
Merci.
And hopefully we'll see you at the title shot.